Welcome back. Friend. I just got back from the marketplace. Got myself a new helmet. Anyway. Sit back. Relax. Take a deep breath. Because it's time for another story. Let's begin. Previous experiences. Cannabis, methylphenidate, corisoprodol, LSD, datura, psilocybin, DXM, 25-INBOMe, alprazolam, 2CI, DMT, 25-CNBOMe, 2CP. This was about 2 months ago, but I'm deciding to jot this down now, I guess. T0:00 ingest 2 capsules each containing 8 mg of 2CP. T0:30 begin to feel a bit amped up and very stimulated. Shaking violently, starting to feel cold. Visuals are very subtle at this point but somewhat noticeable, with everything looking more colorful. T1:00 shaking harder. Feeling colder. Energy courses through my muscles. I need to stand up and pace my room to let it out. My guts begin to rumble and roll as the stomach discomfort and nausea starts to set in. Nothing can prepare me for how this is about to go. Mentally I am feeling very high. It's been a shit week, so I can't say it's brought me to feeling euphoric, but I don't feel completely shitty, which is nice. I guess I feel hopeful for how this trip will go. Visuals picking up in the form of breathing and fractal patterns on my ceiling. Lights are emitting rainbows. T2:00. I am literally shaking so hard it's difficult to type. I feel utterly nauseated with a piercing ache in my abdomen. It feels like tiny insects made of razor blades are pulsing through my muscles. I feel utterly frigid. I am shivering violently while also experiencing intense tremors. No position I can put my body in feels remotely comfortable. The mere concept of being in the same position for more than 30 seconds is horrific to imagine. I must constantly be in motion. I must constantly be letting off all the explosive energy pent up inside me, electrocuting my muscles like a supercell storm and stimulating me beyond any imaginable level of comfort. I am pacing the room, plopping myself onto my bed, getting up, sitting by my computer, getting up again, cycling and cycling. All I can think is, what did I do to my body? The visuals grow ever stronger, with the world around me shaking and leaving rainbow tracers. Everything is vibrating and giving off force fields of color. Any surface with a pattern begins to mirror itself and reflect upon itself. T2:30. The sheer power of this trip has fortunately managed to overwhelm the heavy body load. I finally managed to lie still, curled up under blankets. Every sound around me is an echoing psychedelic mess. I close my eyes under my covers and my world explodes with three-dimensional closed-eye visuals. I can feel my body liquefy and fall away as my mind drifts off. My thoughts race and unfold like fern fronds, gracefully spiraling and dancing away into oblivion. One thought leads to another, and they all beautifully bloom into the next one. Suddenly I realize that I have drifted off. The entire flowing structure of thought processes collapses as I jerk myself back into reality. I open my eyes. The ceiling is an abyss of swirling fractals and forms and faces made of dancing and swirling fractals. Every object in the room loses its defined edges as I stand up. Every boundary of my vision is spiraling away into infinity. I sit down at the computer and slowly regain lucidity. T2:45. I get back on my bed. I fade into psychedelic oblivion again. My blanket becomes a grand warm bear that cuddles me and curls up around me to calm my frigid shaking. I feel safe, but it's a strange kind of comfort, like I am being safely kept in dangerous hands. Something volatile has decided to be merciful to me. As I drift away from the corporeal world into darkness, I am addressed by a booming voice. From what I can deduce, it is the voice of this grand bear of my mind. What are you doing? What followed was a conversation between my nervous awkward self and some sort of figure of grand authority and overbearing power. My timidity, self-loathing, and awkwardness were put on trial in great contrast to the authoritative confidence and self-assuredness of this booming voice. Sadly, I cannot remember much of the conversation. I wish I wrote down what I had been told, perhaps it could have been useful to me. T3:00 I snap myself back into reality. I am still cold, still shaking, still very uncomfortable. But I feel comfort and warmth in the power of this trip and the swirling chaotic fractal world around me. I fade in and out of lucidity and corporeality a few more times, but these times I just disappear from the world and sit alone in an abyss, alone with surreal psychedelic trivial thoughts. Interestingly, I didn't feel my strange ascension over social interaction this trip. Usually, socializing is rendered impossible because I become mortally afraid of the sheer triviality of every interaction. Everything just seems too ridiculous to do or interact with. But this time I feel fully immersed in the world, on the same humble level of everything. T3:30 I kick back and watch the anime Akira. I figure focusing all of my senses on something will draw my mind away from the body load. The entirety of the movie, my brother tries to talk to me about sports. I'm not into sports. I try to humor him and in the end it creates for a really interesting interaction. We don't talk extremely often and I feel like I'm not extremely close to him, just like the rest of my family. It feels tragic that I cannot relate to him on this. We are separated and this is just another degree of separation that he is trying to bridge, but it is simply being rejected on my side. I feel so guilty for not being there to share his interests and grow closer. T5:00 The movie is still going when my roommate and friends come back. I try to keep my calm amongst other people. The night unfolds as a series of social interactions draw my attention away from the trip. For the next 5 or so hours I am still seeing swirling forms and breathing patterns over things. I am not shaking violently and I am not feeling as cold or uncomfortable. My channels of thought are clear, allowing for easy and fluid social interaction. I feel confident and happy. T11:00 Everyone else has gone to bed. The past 6 hours have been glowing and comfortable and happy social interactions. My body has calmed down at this point, but for the life of me I cannot sleep. Visuals are barely there. I still feel high. My attention gets dragged in every direction and my thoughts race, often focusing on whatever randomly catches my attention. I feel so completely and utterly awake and I cannot sleep. T17:00 I finally feel tired enough to sleep. I go and do that. And that's that. I thank you for listening. Before you go, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. Just in case nobody ever told you that today. Now, friend. Good night.